Hi everybody, welcome back to Swanson's Garage. Nice for you to join us. What I want to talk about today is what I've been trying to ponder over in my mind, what I've been thinking about as far as the end game for the tractor in the snowbank and the one we're currently working on, both 1525 Allis Chalmers. This one's a 26 and the one outside's a 25. So like I've mentioned before, the end game is to restore both of them and then ultimately keep one for myself and sell the second one to, fund the project, so to speak. Not necessarily looking to make a money on the deal or anything, just trying to kind of break even, let's say. If a guy can not put a ton of money into these out of pocket, so to speak. Anyway, what I've been trying to figure out is timeline and how do I go about doing this? Because of course I'm very limited on space in my little one stall garage here. I can only get one tractor in here at a time. In a perfect world, I could have both tractors in here, tear them both apart, break them all down both at the same time, and rebuild them both at the same time simultaneously. That just isn't really an option because I don't have the physical space to do that. So I've been trying to figure out, how do I go about doing this? Do I go through this entire tractor from start to finish and then roll the other tractor in and go through that start to finish? I don't really like that idea because there's too many unknowns at this point. We're going through the transmission of this one currently, if you're new to the channel. And I have no idea what the tractor out in the snowbank, what that looks like as far as transmission goes. I got some good idea what engine stuff looks like because that's already been taken apart by the previous owner. So I got some idea what to expect there. But as far as rear end, I got no idea what that one looks like. So part of me wants to crack that one open to see what it looks like. Is it comparable to this one? Is it worse than this one? Is it by chance better than this one? Because knowing that, I can kind of plan accordingly. I'm kind of talking this through even as I think about it, so that's why I sound a little unsure of what to say here, because I'm really not sure. I'm kind of trying to figure this all out for myself here yet. So like I said, in a perfect world, I'd break them both down and do them together, because that way, if you're making parts, whether it be transmission parts or engine parts or anything for that matter, if you're going to do one, it's pretty much just as easy to do two while you're all set up and doing it. Because a lot of these projects, say you're going to machine a part, well, the setup time is what takes all the time to do. A lot of times, you might spend half an hour setting up, say, a manifold in the milling machine to fly cut it flat on the mounting surfaces. Well, you might spend half an hour setting it up and then 30 seconds actually machining it. So if you have everything set up to do one, you might as well set up and do two. So that's kind of the plan with a lot of these parts. Boring out jugs for the engines. Well, I know for sure we're going to have to do that. So there again, if you're going to set up to do one engine, you might as well set up to do both engines while you're doing it. Fan blades, you're going to need new bearings in them, most likely, that are going to be shot. So if you're going to set up to order parts, you might as well order two of everything, because you're going to need two of everything. But that gets tricky. Like I said, with those kind of parts, it's not so bad to do because they don't take up much room. I can basically stack two tractors worth of little parts on the shelf here, no problem. But when you start doing the big actual frame of the tractor, the carcass, it takes up so much space. So I'm not sure what to do. If anybody has a really great suggestion, something I haven't thought about, I'm all ears. Right now, the latest thought that's been kind of bouncing around in my head is, okay, so let's say I'm going to break both of these tractors down and kind of do them simultaneously. So the end game for this winter is to get through this transmission, get it all cleaned out, rebuilt, back together, cleaned up on the outside, and when the weather is nice this summer, bring it outside, get it primed and painted. At least this chunk of the tractor will be kind of done, so to speak, with the possible exception. I don't know how far I will actually get that, whether we'll get, say, final drives and all that stuff put back on there, or if we'll do just basically this, the internals, maybe some of the pinion drives, and then just kind of leave it like that for now. Because then, if I get to that point, it's basically a self-contained unit. Even if it isn't done here, I could put little covers or mask them off or whatever to keep the internals of everything clean for the time being. And I could make myself a little stand on wheels, and potentially I could take and roll this thing, clean up this corner, roll it right into the corner, pack it away, and then I would have room to take the 25 out in the snowbank and roll that one inside here, say come fall time at the very least, get it inside here before next winter, and then spend however long it takes, let's say next winter, rinse and repeat, take it all apart, rebuild that transmission next winter, and same thing come that following spring, same story, bring it outside, paint it, and then you'd have 2 done transmission cases ready to go from there. Okay, that's all plausible up until that point, but then it gets tricky, because what do I do with them after the fact? Okay, so the next step would be to turn it into a rolling chassis, get the final drives done, get the wheels done, get the main frame done and the front axle done, and get it back on all 4 wheels, rolling chassis. You wouldn't have to worry about the engine yet up until that point, because that just sits in that main casting. That's not a big deal. We don't even have to think about that at this point. But at that point we'd have one full carcass of a tractor, rolling chassis here. Okay, that's fine. But then what do I do with the other transmission that would still be back in the corner here? Because I don't physically have room in here to put 2 rolling chassis in this shop. There's just physically not enough space. Even if I wanted to pack them in here tight, I don't think I could even have enough length to do that. Even if I rolled it right up to the bench here, I could take some measurements, but I don't think physically I could even do that. Even if I could, that wouldn't make much sense to do, because it's like you would have no room to work. It's bad enough in here as it is. There's very minimal room to work. So then my brain goes to, you're basically forced to have to take that rolling chassis and put it somewhere else outside. Well, I don't have any other enclosed storage here to put it in, and I don't want to just put it outside in the weather. That's not really an option. So my brain goes to, do I just get one of those cheap, what do you call them, like those fabric tent garden shed, the $150 Tractor Supply special, to put your snowblower and lawnmower and stuff in. Do I get one of those and set it up on the slab there where the tractor currently is, and then roll that tractor in there to keep it under protection? That would work. It wouldn't be a huge investment, but the downside is North Dakota here with its wind, I don't know how long one of those garden shed, you know, fabric tent, whatever you want to call them, mobile sheds had. I know they're not going to last super long, and I can say that because one of the neighbors, a couple of houses down that way, actually has one, or what's left of one. The fabric is all ripped and torn, and it ain't much good for anything anymore. So I hesitate to go that route, but maybe a guy would have to do something like that. Because at this point, it's not in the budget to put up another garage across the alley like I'd ultimately like to do someday. There's no way I can afford to do that. I'm currently broke as it is between fixing up this garage last fall and buying these tractors last fall, hiring an electrician to do the work in the garage here. I got zero funds to work with. I am one major breakdown away from being bankrupt, basically. Maybe not quite, but it's not good. So I can't afford to put up another building. So I've just been trying to figure out, like I said, what I should do here. And part of me hates to, going back to the funding thing, go through one entire tractor, finish it, and then start the other one from the beginning and go through and finish it. Because I don't really plan on selling one tractor until I'm done with both, because of course I'd keep the better of the two for myself. Don't get me wrong, they're both going to be excellent restorations. I'm not going to cut corners by any means, but you know how it is. There's always certain things that might be just a little bit better on one tractor versus the other. And of course, I'm going to keep the little bit better one for myself, my own personal collection. That's what anybody would do, right? You keep the cream of the crop for yourself and you sell the little bit less to the next guy. But the point of that is it would be a long time to get to selling that second tractor if we do the whole one first and the second one second, where I'm wondering, I don't know if it would really be any quicker or not if you did them both simultaneously. Timeline, whether it would really come out any quicker or not, I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't really matter. But in my mind, it might be just a little bit quicker to work on both at the same time. I don't know. Just things I've been thinking about here, trying to figure out an ultimate plan of attack and end game. The guy's got to have some type of a goal and process involved. So I thought maybe I just kind of talk it through here, and a lot of smart people that watch this channel, and maybe kind of get their opinion on what they would do in this situation. Because another reason I want to kind of figure out what's going to be the best route to take here is that long-term goals, once these two 1525s are done, the next projects are going to be my 2035 long fenders, because it'll be the same type of goal. As of right now, I have 3 incomplete long fenders. And between the 3, I plan to put back at least 2 tractors. Same story, I'd probably keep one for myself, sell the second one to fund the project, and hopefully have minimal invested in the one that I keep then after selling the second one. This is a hobby. I can't afford just to buy these all out of pocket and restore them all out of pocket and then keep them all for myself forever. Ultimately, something's going to have to eventually get sold just to fund the whole process. I'm not an independently wealthy guy. I'm just a poor working Joe like everybody else. So it'll be the same kind of process. I'm going to do 2 of the long fenders. So I'd like to kind of know how to go about doing it now to kind of work the bugs out with these, so to speak. So when I get to the long fenders, then I kind of have a process figured out. And those are going to be even harder because I'm missing a lot of parts on them yet. where at least these 1525s were pretty complete. I can't really complain. They're not missing too terribly many parts, more than what you would expect on this kind of a project, at least. Where the long fenders I got, they're rather incomplete, let's say. Even though I got 3 of them, there's still things that I don't have, or I have 1, so I'll be reproducing parts. And I've been hunting parts for them for quite a few years now, and it's kind of hard to turn up any parts. Seems like most of the leads I've gotten over the years I've followed up on, and a lot of them I've actually bought the parts when I found them. So just a shout out if anybody does have long fender parts out there, or for that matter 1525 parts that you're willing to get rid of or whatever, by all means I'd love to hear from you. Even if it's just a matter of borrowing parts for, if we need to get more produced, or, for casting patterns or whatever. Be nice to make those contacts and do that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm just kind of like I said, kind of a walking around, talking, thinking bit of a video here this morning. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below. Am I crazy? Should I not even worry about, doing both tractors? Should I just fix one for myself and sell the second one as a project? I don't know. Anything's a possibility at this point, but there isn't too many people that want to tackle a project of this caliber as far as a full-blown restoration. Most people aren't quite as crazy as I am to do this. They want something that's pretty much turnkey where they can just go and play with it. So that's why I think my best move is to restore it and sell it as a finished piece, whether that be at a private sale or whether I actually bring it to one of these more popular auction houses and actually have it auctioned off. That remains to be seen. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts for the Sunday morning here. I guess it's actually afternoon, but let me know what you guys think.